In the headlines, Senate asks CBN to adjust cash withdrawal policy as new Naira notes enter circulation. Fire guts filling station in Adamawa. Federal government opens second Niger Bridge for 30 days to ease traffic in the southeast during the festive season. And US President Joe Biden asks African leaders to ensure free 2023 elections. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Zainab Bala. Hello and warm welcome. The Nigerian Senate has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to adjust its policy on cash withdrawal limit in response to the public outcry that greeted the announcement. Now, the upper chamber, in its resolution, also asked its Committee on Banking and Finance to embark on aggressive oversight of the apex banks as it implements the policy. The report.
The Senate, at Wednesday's session, mandated the apex bank to adjust the policy after a heated debate on the matter.
The central bank latest action on Naira redesign and nationwide implementation of cashless policy are intended to further sustain this achievement in the quest to foster a safe, credible, and efficient payment system that is the pride of all Nigerians and the envy of the world.
Now, when you look at the conditions that CBN has put in their policy, to me it appears very punitive. How the money comes about, how the money is to be taken, and limitation on what people should do with their hard-earned money. I think even in the global best practice, it does not exist. We must find a way to remove that.
One lawmaker who believes it's about time the economy goes cashless is Senator Biodun Olujimi, representing Ekiti South, while her counterpart, Senator Ajibola of Osun South, noted that the policy may not be favorable for the electionary campaigns and mobilization.
In the report, there is a clause that says massive consultation will be held between now and the 9th of January. Mr. President, that's only 2 weeks. And there is this festive period in between. How can you have a massive consultation in those 2 weeks? The timing is wrong.
Above 100,000 per week, you pay processing fee of 5%. The question is looking at the inflation trend in our country and the average cost of living of survivor of every family in Nigeria, 100,000 per week, then POS withdrawal 20,000 daily is terribly, the threshold is going to impact.
Deputy Senate President Ovi Omageke thereafter ruled that the Senate Committee on Banking and Finance be mandated to give periodic reports to the Senate on the implementation of the policy in line with laid down rules by the Senate.
We also want to protect our people in rural areas from being attacked, by bandits, being attacked by armed robbers who believe that there's a piggy bank in their homes. I think the moment it becomes clear to everyone that we've gone cashless, full-blown, and there's no money being hoarded in anybody's house, I think there will be reductions in armed robbery and banditry attacks as well.
The policy, according to the CBN, will become effective on January 9, 2023.
A multi-million naira Nipco gas filling station in Yola, Adamawa State capital, has been gutted by fire. The filling station is located near roundabout Maidoki in Jimeta. Now, the cause of the fire outbreak is not known yet. However, the fire damaged pumping and storage facility of the station. Now, there is heavy security presence in and around Kofar Nasarawa along the Emir's Palace Road, Kano, as an upper Sharia court delivers judgment in the case of blasphemy against the controversial cleric Abdul Jabbar Nasur Kabara. The judgment is coming 15 months into the trial of the Kano Islamic cleric before the upper Sharia court, presided over by Ibrahim Sadiki Yola. Kabara is standing trial on the issue bordering on blasphemy against the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and inciting public violence. Abdul Jabbar was charged before the court in July 2021 by the state government. Security operatives have been intensively deployed to the area around the palace of Kano's Emir, where the court is situated. The embattled cleric has been brought into the courtroom in the company of the operatives of the Kano Correctional Center. Journalists, civil rights activists, and legal practitioners are already seated, waiting for the judge to commence proceeding. The Upper Sharia Court in Gusau, Zamfara State has released on bail former Minister of Information and Chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Ikra Bilbis, after 14 days in remand. Legal advisor of the PDP in Zamfara State, Shehu Ajia, confirmed Bilbis's release to Trust TV via telephone. He said the former minister was released on bail with no conditions attached. Ajia said the court adjourned the case to December 27th for hearing of the substantive suit. Now, operatives of the Zamfara Police Command had detained Bilbis on the 28th of November 2022, Gusau, for alleged involvement in a security breach during a PDP rally that spanned from Bakura through Mafara Maru, Bungudu, and ended in Gusau, the state capital. The All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Ahmed Bola Tinubu was in Minna, the Niger state capital, as part of campaigns for the 2023 presidential election. The presidential candidate, after endorsing the gubernatorial candidate of the APC in the state, Umar Mohammed, later commissioned his campaign office in Minna. Tinubu at the commissioning said the inauguration of this office is for the well-being of Nigerians and to the good health of the people. Tinubu was accompanied to the state by his running mate Kashim Shettima, the Senate President Ahmed Lawal, Governor Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State, and governorship candidate in the state Umar Muhammad Bago, among others. Still talking politics, Labour Party has announced the postponement of its presidential campaigns in Ekiti and Ondo states, earlier slated for 15th and 16th December. The party, in a statement on its verified Twitter handle on Wednesday, while regretting the inconveniences caused by the postponement, said a new date will be announced. The postponement comes after a campaign by the party in Kogi State on Tuesday, where its presidential candidate Peter Obi promised to increase minimum wage and prioritize production over consumption. Presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, has boasted that neither the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, nor the People's Democratic Party, PDP, can defeat the NNPP in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Kwankwaso made the disclosure during his visit to Ado Ekiti as part of his campaign tour in the southwest part of the country to canvass for votes ahead of the February 2023 general polls. According to him, if elections were to take place today, the NNPC would completely root out APC and PDP and render their leaderships and presidential candidates jobless. According to him, he is different from all presidential candidates because he has first-hand information on how the masses live. Speaking at the palace of the Ewi of Ado Ekiti, Oba Rufus Ademo Adejupe, Kwankwaso berated both parties over what he termed as bad leadership and economic woes, saying that the two major political parties have failed the nation. The Federal Executive Council has approved the Finance Bill 2022 to support the smooth implementation of the 2023 budget and has a whistleblowing draft bill to restore momentum to the policy. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed announced the approval of the bills on Wednesday at the end of a hybrid meeting of the cabinet presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The cabinet has also approved the total sum of 9.24 billion naira for the insurance cover for all government agencies, military and intelligence institutions for the period between 2022 and 2023. Kainde Amodu reports.
The whistleblower policy was launched on December 21, 2016 by the Buhari administration as one of the tools to prosecute the anti-corruption crusade. The policy proposes a reward of between 2.5% and 5% of any recovered funds to any whistleblower who provides information about financial mismanagement or stolen funds. But it is no secret that fighting corruption through this strategy will be heavily dependent on effective protection of whistleblowers. And for this reason, the policy seems to have lost momentum.
People are concerned about their safety as a result of providing the information. So this bill is critical to ensure the effectiveness of the intention of the whistleblower policy.
The Minister of Finance has also obtained approval for the Finance Bill 2022, which is designed to support the implementation of the 2023 budget and will be implemented in 5 strategic areas.
Including tax equity reforms, climate change and green growth provisions, job creation and economic growth reforms, reforming tax incentives, as well as generating revenue and enhancing tax administration.
But how specifically does this work?
The purpose of the tax equity reforms is to combat tax evasion and aggressive tax planning practices that some companies operating in Nigeria are involved in, but also enabling the utilization of ICT tools and using international best practice to assess taxpayers' tax on a fair and reasonable basis.
The 9.24 billion naira insurance cover approved by the Cabinet on Wednesday will apply to all government agencies, military and intelligence institutions for the period between 2022 and 2023. The insurance will take effect from the date of payment. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up. Fuel scarcity bites harder in Kano. Motorists want government to address persistence. Details of this story after the break. Stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Our top stories. Senate asks CBN to adjust cash withdrawal policy as new Naira notes enter circulation. Fire guards filling station in Adamawa. Moving on, motorists have cause to smile as the federal government has ordered the opening of the second Niger Bridge for use starting from midnight on Thursday. Minister of Works Babatunde Fashola stated this on Wednesday while inaugurating the bridge for the use for 1 month during the Yuletide. Fashola, who took a walk around the bridge during the inspection, cancelled road users plying the bridge to drive safely and responsibly in order not to defeat the purpose of constructing the project. The minister pointed out that the President Muhammadu Buhari ordered Completion of the bridge to save lives and alleviate poverty occasioned by waste of many hours resulting from gridlock on the old First Niger Bridge. He noted that the opening of the second Niger Bridge would alleviate the sufferings of the motoring public who always experienced gridlock during the Yuletide.
So you will see the impact in the monetary and multidimensional part. But let us be clear. This is a temporary opening to achieve the purpose of relieving that pain and that inconvenience. And we would like your feedback if you get the opportunity to use it so that we know how best to make it better for you.
Fuel scarcity is biting harder on motorists in Kano as the price reached as high as 310 naira a litre. Residents want government to find a lasting solution to the situation. Now, this is coming at a time the House of Representatives gave NNPC and others a week to end the scarcity. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibril reports that most fueling stations within the metropolis remain closed as people say the product is no longer affordable.
For several weeks, motorists in Kano, like many other parts of the country, are suffering from fuel scarcity, resulting to long queues and price hike across many filling stations across the state. Some filling stations that are selling the fuel are selling it at about 320 naira, some up to 400. The situation is pathetic and people are suffering all over the states. Wherever you go, the queues is too long. And the only thing we can say is let's God help us, and the government needs to do something to control the situation, because obviously we cannot keep on going like this. But petrol stations selling at the official pump price of 184 naira per litre say they try to control the crowd. And in some cases, officials of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps are seen trying to monitor the situation. We open our station at about 7 a.m. in the morning, and we are selling the fuel at the official pump price of 184 naira per litre. And like you can see, we don't sell it to black marketers. It's only vehicles, and even the motorcycle that used to enter here, we used to properly check them to make sure that yes, they are who they say they are, and that's how we are selling it here.
The issue of scarcity, we thank God we are receiving plenty truck this time around. So even the queue now, there is no any plenty queue. If you come in the morning around 6 o'clock, by the grace of God, you don't go past 1 hour, 2 hours, you are taking fuel and go.
How much are you selling?
We are selling PMS as 184 naira as a government price. This is NNPC mega station. According to motorists, 1 litre is now sold at over 300 naira in some filling station, while black marketers sold at over 400 naira per litre. At the moment, fuel price across the commercial city of Kano is increasing virtually on a daily basis, making life even more difficult to the ordinary citizens. Idris Jibril, Trust TV News, Kano.
Over 110 million euros will be invested by the French government in the Kaduna State transport sector to improve transportation activities in the state. Trust TV's Bello Musa reports that the French ambassador to Nigeria, Emmanuel Blackman, stated this at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Kaduna Bus Rapid Transport Project in Kaduna.
Speaking shortly after laying the foundation for the project, the State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai said after the completion of the project in Kaduna Metropolis, the state government will extend the project to Zaria and Kafancha Municipal. The governor also expressed optimism that the project will address the transportation challenges being faced in the city.
In a couple of years, Kaduna will have a functioning bus rapid transit that will be moving tens of thousands of people every day. We We hope with the success of this project, we'll extend this to Zaria metropolitan area, as well as Kafanchan municipal area, and gradually to all our major towns and cities.
The French ambassador, Emmanuela Blattman, said over 100 inhabitants will benefit directly from the project, adding that over 160 commuters will be accommodated in the project.
We're very optimistic that this BRT model developed in Kaduna will serve as a reference for other cities in the country. For example, maybe Kano, and be able to also to have a mass transit system between the states. This is an ambitious project, and we believe also it will significantly improve the daily lives of city dwellers. It is expected that over 100,000 inhabitants will benefit directly from the new BRT corridor, and that the new system will accommodate up to 160,000 commuters daily.
Bus rapid transport system, which is a modern system of transportation, if provided, will not only ease transportation difficulties, but will also provide transportation alternative for passengers. When operational, Kaduna State will be the second to have BRT system in the country after Lagos. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, Meta, the owner of major social media platforms Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, have pledged to support the Nigerian government in tackling the negative impact of fake news, hate speech, and disinformation ahead of next year's election. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said this at the sidelines of the ongoing scorecard series of the Buhari administration, which features the Ministry of Niger Delta. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
As Nigeria battles to safeguard the social media space from the menace of fake news, hate speech and disinformation, especially at the peak of electioneering, Information Minister Lai Mohammed says such collaboration by the social media giant is necessary to address the challenge.
Specifically, Meta detailed the actions it plans to take to combat disinformation and to make political advertising more transparent. The company committed to these actions before, during, and after the elections. This is commendable and is in line with what we have always said, that the platform owners have a big role to play.
Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Okon Umana, says the ministry has received from 2015 to date the sum of 178.5 billion naira, which according to him was judiciously utilized to improve the lives of the people in the 9 oil-producing states.
The ministry has completed 553 projects and programs between 2015 and 2022. Some other projects are ongoing at different completion stages in the 9 states of the Niger Delta region.
Though the minister could not readily provide figures of the fund recoveries made from the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC), as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari, he said such recoveries are being used to fund critical projects in the region.
That exercise had since been concluded. The reports submitted to government, reports have been reviewed. A committee is working on the white paper, which will be issued very soon. But even as that is going on, Mr. President had also directed that some aspects will not wait until the white paper is issued.
Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta region was central to the nation's economic development due to oil and gas production. It has, however, suffered development deficit and environmental challenges despite huge allocations from the central government. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And on the foreign scene, U.S. President Joe Biden on Wednesday met leaders of African nations that hold elections in the new year to press for a free vote on the sidelines of a summit that has brought most African leaders to Washington. Biden and his top aides met separately with a group of 6 leaders as part of his democracy push. The group included Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, who is ineligible to seek a third term in February to lead Africa's most populous country, and President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, who took office in 2019 in the vast country's first peaceful transfer of power. Also participating were Gabon's Ali Bongo Ondimba and the leaders of Liberia, Madagascar and Sierra Leone, according to the White House. Biden's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said ahead of the meeting that the president would call for free elections across the continent. He said the participation of the leaders did not necessarily indicate the United States had concerns with each country. The United States has hailed Tshisekedi for agreeing to hold elections as scheduled in Democratic Republic of the Congo, where past votes have been marred by unrest. The United Nations on Wednesday said at least 166 civilians have died in clashes in South Sudan's far north over the past 4 months, urging the government to act swiftly to end the violence. Thousands of people in Upper Nile State have sought shelter in swamps to escape the bloodshed, amid reports of civilians being raped, kidnapped, or murdered. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, in a statement said at least 166 civilians have been killed and 237 injured, as clashes have intensified between armed elements and between rival community-based militias in the region. Turk said these killings, along with reports of gender-based violence, abductions, destructions of property and looting, are severe human rights violations and abuses and must stop. The violence has displaced over 20,000 people since August, citing reports of random shooting of civilians. And in sports, France will play Argentina in the 2022 World Cup final after the reigning champions defeated Morocco 2-0 on Wednesday. It took Theo Hernandez just 5 minutes to open the scoring after a goal-mouth scramble. Jawad El Yamid came close to scoring an equalizer with a stunning overhead kick, only for his acrobatic shot to be tipped onto the post by Hugo Lloris. And that's it on News Updates. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thanks for your time and company.